Well, so right now the time is about 10:30 in the evening, Greenwich Mean Time, and the sun has set on Sunday here. To be totally honest, it is still probably late afternoon now in California, where the fight with Jens Pulver is due to happen. I don't know, I think we've got a couple of hours yet, but the fight card must be due to start within the next 3 or 4, I would have thought. I've actually had several attempts at trying to make this thing on, put my final bit of UFC85 on tape. And every single time I've tried, I've gone way over time, so I shall speed up slightly. Okay, I think it's a good card, considering that it's been fraught with people having pulled out. We still have Hughes, we still have Bisping, we still have Swick, and we still have Marquardt, which isn't too bad. We shall start with Nathan Marquardt, 26, 7 and 2, 15 subs, including 1 over Jeremy Horn, which should be, that's not a bad thing to do. He's also beaten Dean Lister. His loss, everybody knows, has come as he challenged Anderson Silva, and his first loss was to Genki Sudo. Tars Lights is 12-1. He has 8 subs out of that 12, but his best opponent that he has beaten is Pete Zell. I am predicting a win by sub in round 2. I think Marquardt will beat Lights personally. I think the first round will probably be them set to be quite a good bout, I think, because they will both probably try to submit each other. But in the second round, I think that Nathan's experience, both in record and calibre of people, will probably gain him the victory. Marcus Davis and Mike Swick. Davis is actually listed, so says Sherdog, as being with MFS, which I didn't know. He's 14-3, and he's beaten the likes of Pete Spratt, Shoni Carter and Jess Leodon. He is facing Mike Swick, 11-2, who's, well, I did find that he has an embarrassing loss to Chris Lieben, which I didn't know. I'm not calling this one, because I think it could go both ways. I do think that Mike Swick's career has been hit quite harshly by the bureaucracy within the UFC. I personally still hold to the fact that Mike Swick was due for a contendership against Rich Franklin on his return from injury that he sustained during the match with David Loiseau. And as it happened, he fell short when they shortchanged him by fast-tracking Anderson Silva, who of course has been in ever since, and I think, yes, I think Swick was cheated out of an opportunity there. He then of course didn't do so well and has dropped weight. So I kind of hope that he does well, but I'm not going to predict. Okay, Jason Day, 17-5, is facing Michael Bisping, 15-1. Who's known for TKO and has actually beaten Mark Epstein twice, which I didn't realise. I've seen Bisping perform before at UFC 70, and I should tell you an interesting thing. Jason Day is known for TKO and subs. I don't think he will beat Bisping on his feet. He does have a loss to Patrick Cote by TKO. However, when I watched Bisping perform against the ageing Elvis Sinasek, you should know that Bisping came very, very close to being submitted. I think if Jason Day has any chance at all, and I don't predict this, I would like this to happen, I think Jason Day must, if he wants to win, submit Bisping. I don't see him winning on the feet, and he's sure as hell not going to win a decision, is he, if he's fighting Bisping in the capital of England. Sorry, just talk to Hamill if you think I'm being cynical there. So I'm going to go for Bisping by TKO. I don't particularly like Bisping, despite being English. I just think that some of the things he does and some of the things he says don't really represent the sort of quality of person that I usually promote, to be totally honest. But hey, okay. The next bout is the main bout. Hughes and Thiago Alves. Now, I have to say I'm expecting a win by Hughes. I'm expecting him to get a stoppage, probably in the second round. I have to say that a lot of people have written him off, and I think that's a bit unfair. I think they do it based on one person only. The only reason they think that Matt Hughes is or could lose is because of his back-to-back losses against the same person, which is of course GSP. One must remember that during their second bout, Hughes actually chose to stand. He did suffer the loss, but I wouldn't really hold that one in mind, to be totally honest. Now, okay, granted the third time they met, GSP beat him on the ground, but then I have to say that 4 years, ever since they first met and GSP lost, he's basically been training to fight and beat one person, and he's finally managed to do that, and all credit to him for that. But it does not mean at all that Hughes is in any way particularly old or has lost it or whatever. I think that it just simply means that perhaps Hughes needs to be careful if he ever fights GSP again. But I think fighting everybody else is pretty much as it always was. Now I'm sure that Thiago Alves is feeling the heat a little bit, because for all intents and purposes this is like a title fight for him. I think that you have to understand it from his point of view, in that just the name Matt Hughes means quite a lot, and I think without even knowing or having ever met Hughes, if you read and you understand his legacy, you are going to be shit scared if you have to fight him, to be totally honest. Okay, it's not for a title, but it's still the person, isn't it? And it's still fighting the name. And I think to compensate that, the UFC have tried to portray Hughes as being a little less than he is. That also, of course, falls in line with trying to make him less than GSP, who is their reigning champion, who they have to market. I don't think they're fooling anybody by saying that Hughes is only a two-time welterweight champion. It's quite obvious that he's defended the title 9 times, that he's had 2 consecutive reigns, both with defences. In fact, one sets the record for defences, and place that next to GSP, who has managed to gain the title twice, but pretty much he hasn't. I don't believe he's done any defences yet, has he? Not off the top of my head. No, I don't think he has. And pretty much he dominated somebody who shouldn't have been there in the first place, and the one person that he's been training for years specifically to beat. Well, so I understand that, but yes, and that is pretty much my prediction. I'm expecting the TKO in probably the second round, and hopefully I shall actually be there in attendance. I shall certainly be in London, but we're still working on whether I'm actually going to be in the arena or not.